the base running mistakes, these are the unacceptable things for a team that's as veteran a team as this. That rundown that JT Realmuto and Bryce Harper tried to execute on Saturday against a worse opponent, that costs them a game, because that's little league nonsense.
That's ridiculous.
Like, first of all, JT, dude, you can't get picked off. Why are you even trying to be frisky at first base with Bryce Harper at third and nobody out? Like, I know the offense isn't coming through with runners in scoring position.
Realmuto loves to see himself as a base runner. He loves to think he's a frisky guy, and he is successful some of the time, but he takes a lot of risks because I think he has bought into that myth of, like, I'm a great catcher base runner. Like, no, you're a catcher. Stop.
I mean, he is a fast base runner. I give him that.
Yeah.
But mistakes like that are, like you're saying, John, they can't happen. But honestly, I think this is part of the plan. This is Kyle Schwarber was, I'm serious. Kyle Schwarber was making reference to this. Their whole thing is being aggressive. And when being aggressive doesn't work, that's what it looks like. You know, you got your head thinking about your next move, not what you're currently doing. And that's exactly what you see. A veteran like Realmuto getting picked off, that's inexcusable. Like, in that situation, like you're saying, John, like, what are you doing, man? You expect, like, a kid who's got the, like, rookie game jitters, like, to get picked off, who's distracted. Realmuto's, but again, they're trying to be more aggressive. They want that to be a strength of theirs. And when it's not looking, it just looks sloppy, and they look sloppy. They're 11 for 17 in stolen base attempts, and they have been caught. They've made more outs on the bases than any other team.
Yeah, they are the best
other
at
outs
something.
on the bases.
Yeah. Tragically common feels like trend for this team, and something that takes them out of a lot of games.
Well, a lot of scoring opportunities just wasted with these kinds of and they're not hitting well enough to waste those opportunities. That's the problem. Like, if you're the Atlanta Braves, you can run into 6 outs on the bases and probably survive it. But when you're really struggling to barrel the baseball, when you're really struggling to hit the ball, and I will say too, the Phillies have had their fair share of line outs over the course of the first week of the season. Bryce Harper specifically, in the 9th inning on Sunday, it looked like the Phillies, a couple guys hit the ball hard and you hit them at people. That's what happens. That's fine. But you've got to, I like the aggressiveness, Liz. I like being aggressive on the bases. I think it's a good mindset to have, but it's got to be disciplined also, like a disciplined aggression. And they did this exact thing last year.
Yeah.
We had this conversation, like, in the first 2 months of the season, the Phillies had created more outs on the bases than any other team, and then they fixed it. They corrected it. It wasn't a problem during the last, 4 months of the season. But for the first 2 months, we were pulling our hair out because the same group of players was doing the same thing. So they've got to figure out a way to get into a better mindset coming out of spring training and just
the only way to fix this is year-round baseball, because you give them time off and it's over. You give them too much time off and they're just finished. We're just, I feel like there isn't actually a fine line between, smart aggression and stupid aggression. I feel like it's not hard to figure out what that is. Yet the Phillies make it seem like they're just dancing all over it all the time. Whoopsie. And they can't figure out which direction to go. Are we, being too conservative? They can't find a mode to get into this early, which is real frustrating.
What's the number of base outs on the bases the Phillies could have right now that would make it clear they were being aggressive, but was still an acceptable amount of times that they'd run into outs by being aggressive? Like, what's the number? 3?
I would say I was going to say 2. I would say in the first, because we're just talking first 9 games, and we're not talking about caught stealings. Caught stealings or something else. You do 2 toot lands in the first 9 games of the season, but you're just aggressive by nature. You get, I think, over the long haul, you're going to feel like you're going to come out on the winning side of that ledger. But
they can't keep up this rate, right? This is just a confluence of. This is just one of those times when there's a knot of bad stuff, and it's all at once, and then we'll get past it, right? This can't be. They can't keep up this rate for the rest of the year. It would be historically awful.
Right. Well, and they won't. They didn't last year. They fixed it, or at least maybe luck reversed itself. They a couple times when they could have gotten into rundowns, somebody makes a bad throw, you score, whatever. But it is certainly something that Schwarber said that they have to improve their base running, that it's not where they want it to be, but they want to keep the aggressive thought in their heads because they want to take that extra 90 feet whenever they can. That's a good motto. Aggression is good. I think most of the time that's going to play out well. Right now it's not, and they've got to match that with a little bit of discipline and situational awareness and just paying attention. Like Johan Rojas getting picked off, earlier last week. That wasn't aggression. That was just being dumb. So they've just got to be aware of what's going on around them.